Hi. Oh, look, guys, I'm really sorry. I promised you a movie tonight. I didn't know it'd be this
You
bad.
said this was going to be awesome.
Well, since I clearly am an expert on whatever the fuck this is based on.
Well, you promised a movie, and I don't think we really got that. I'm not entirely sure it was a movie.
Now, what we got looked to be an unsold pilot.
Yeah.
It looked like a pilot, but the weird thing is, it explains so much when you looked up who the director was, that they directed Sorority Row, because this looked like a horror movie, the way it was filmed.
To me, this movie looked like it was really trying to look like a DC Universe movie. It's
Batman v Superman kind of thing.
yeah, or like any of
It was
those.
just
Like,
that dark, angsty teen type
Yeah.
of thing. Like
It had,
that
like,
stupid Teen Wolf series.
It was like borrowing
exactly.
from a lot of things. Like, it had the Iron Man element in there,
Yes!
but it looked so stupid the way they did it.
it looks like it's really gray, it's really dark, everything's overcast, but only because it seems like it's just trying to ape that style. But it sort of looks like if they made a TV series that's based in the DC universe, this is probably what it would look like.
Yeah.
Only it's in theaters nationwide.
It only had enough plot for a 45-minute pilot. I kept waiting for when the movie was going to start, and it never really happened.
If there's one thing I'll say about this movie, which is a complete train wreck, by the way, it really kind of went by fast.
It didn't for me.
Good
Lord,
it
it didn't.
It kind of did for me in
You're
the
on
sense
phone
that
a lot of the time.
because I was looking up like who directed this, like who's
He was
voicing
watching a different movie.
Yeah, I was looking up like who wrote this, who directed this. When the villain dies at the end of this film, I was like, oh, okay, so we're just wrapping up now. All right, it's one of those movies where it sort of
Sucks.
like that's putting it lightly.
Sort of
This movie is awful. This movie is jaw-droppingly
I thought
bad.
this was charming and a nice treat for kids.
If the main character's name were not in the title, I could not tell you what it was. He
Max
was that.
Power.
Mighty Max. Mighty Max is what this movie is about. Oh yeah, it does ape the style of Iron Man as well, because when they're in their little super outfits, it does the like Iron Man face shot
Yeah.
where it's like
Hardcore
inside the
Iron Man.
yeah,
It's like Iron Man
inside
meets
the helmet.
Guyver meets young adult bullshit.
Except I didn't want to see this fucker's face up close.
No.
It was so cardboardy.
Yeah, this feels like it's like that recent Fantastic Four, only so much worse. Like, I almost sort of want to apologize to that movie in a way. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four is really bad, but the difference between that and this is that it seemed like Josh Trank was trying to make a good movie. It just didn't turn out that way. This is cynical crap.
That fucking steel robot portal looking thing with the try-hard voice that sounded like it was a game developer at E3 who was trying to sound cool to kids.
Wheatley, you are not.
You're really close with that, because that guy, that's another reason why I pulled out my phone, because I was trying to figure out who that was. He was one of the interns in the movie, the Internship, with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, where they're interning at Google. He was one of those guys. He's also like the nerdy guy who was in, I think it was like commercials for Movie Phone, where they have the projectionist like tied up in the background or some shit. So it was him, and I don't know if on the show the voice of the alien robot sounds like this. But this voice that they have in this film for the goddamn robot is probably the worst robot voice I've ever heard in a movie. It doesn't even
like compared to Heartbeeps.
Yeah, because I liked Heartbeeps.
It was just
That didn't-
talking for the sake of talking, like a lot of points. Like, so I'm in the kitchen now.
At one point near the at the end of the movie, when he's talking to his mom, they cut away to him talking to a lamp, which was clearly
God.
just a scene cut from earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I guess they just needed something to go between there.
So here's this dramatic scene, so I'm using that in the loosest sense, of of Max and his mom, Maria Bello, one of a couple people where it's like, what the fuck are they doing in this movie? So Maria Bello's the mom, she's talking to Max, and they're talking about like his dead dad and all this, and then it cuts to the goddamn robot who's looking at a lamp and says, hey baby, you come here often? Meanwhile, back to drama. Like, look man, Tequila can get away with that shit. This robot can't. The robot's voice sounds like it's a temp track that they accidentally left in the fucking movie.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Though it was hard to try and determine, like, what was worse, the movie before Steele showed up or after? Because it's kind of like, it's just this angsty teen drama crap, and that was so flat. Like, I don't know. It was bad when he showed up, but I mean, it was bad before he showed up too.
It got worse when he showed up because it felt like there was somebody sitting in front of us, like sort of riffing the movie, but having zero timing and nothing to say. Like, hey Max, why don't you put on that suit there, buddy? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna follow you. Hey, don't listen to your math teacher. She doesn't know what she's talking about. There are so many stupid, like Sam Witwicky type moments in this, where he's got the robot in his backpack, and of course the robot's making a bunch of noise and being a doofus for no reason other than just stupid slapstick to be happening while he's at school. Like, there's no reason the robot would be trying to blow his cover like this other than to just be a fucking dork.
It seems like nothing in the movie ever really started, and it's predictable and confusing at the same time, the plot, because you knew immediately who was going to be the villain, because it was the only character who was prominent who wasn't like a main character. It was like, okay, so it's the one guy who works at this facility.
It would have been better if it was his mom.
You know what? There was a moment where I thought like the movie was going to pull one over on us and be like, oh yeah, the villain's Andy Garcia. As soon as he shows up, I used to work for your dad. Like, okay. Like, I've seen every Spider-Man movie. I know where this is going.
It seemed like a bad Spider-Man pilot at times.
Yeah, oh, totally. Yeah. Like, before the robot pops up, it's still bad because before the opening credits, he already kind of has some of his powers, so it sort of feels like if they did a Spider-Man origin movie that never showed him getting bit, but he's still, like, practicing flipping and, like, shooting webs and shit. This was almost
the entirety of the beginning of the movie, him going
on screen.
Stare at hand. Huh?
I still, having sat through this movie, like, at least if a Spider-Man movie was that poorly paced, I at least would still know what Spider-Man's powers were. Like, okay, he can shoot webs and shit. In this, I really can't tell you what this guy does, other than he's got, like, fucking, like, jellyfish coming out of his fingers.
He shoots out
it looked
water.
like he was jizzing out his fingers. And I couldn't tell you much of the plot outside of aliens and robots, but it just was like in one ear, out the other. It was predictable and confusing. Because it was like, I couldn't really tell you.
Max was a disgusting half-breed.
And they didn't reveal that till later, the alien thing. And unless you're like familiar with this video game series or action figure series or whatever, unless you're familiar with this, you're not gonna know.
Well, here's the
gritty
thing, like,
Mattel logo.
they have it's like, really, we're gritty Mattel right now. Oh, I can't wait for the Barbie movie that's like Vice Squad, like. This is the kind of movie where it's like
in the Malibu Dream House.
Yeah. I don't know much about. I really don't know much about the source material, like, at all. But this is the kind of movie where it's like Gem and the Holograms, where, like, I didn't grow up on Gem and the Holograms at all, but even with that being said, I could still look at that movie and see that it's bullshit. I feel the exact same way about this movie. Like, you can I'm looking at a catastrophic mess, and I have no idea why it's in so many theaters. And it's such a small movie. Another thing that's like Fantastic Four, it's such a small movie. Like, the big fight at the end between Andy Garcia and Max Steel is in this, like, leaky, abandoned warehouse. Like how the climax of Fantastic Four was in, like, an underground bunker. This is, like, there's very little locations in this film.
It is weird, too. Like, you know, there's that the robots make tornado monsters sometimes, and like that just there's a woman running away from. You see like one person, and then it like blows up a barn, like, and then no one seems to notice that this happened. Like no one's talking about it
because there's only like 5 people in this film. Like it is like Gem and the Holograms, where it seems like it's taking place after the rapture, so there's not many people around. This is one of those movies where it looks like it's filmed like in Louisiana, where a lot of really low budget movies film because it's cheap to film there. And because of that, there's not that many people in this film. It's like there's more swamps in this movie than there are actual people. So I don't know what the threat of this movie is. I don't know if the villain's trying to take over the world, or I don't think, because he never goes outside the warehouse.
This is a studio interference movie because, like, I was reading a little bit on Wikipedia about, like, the history of this, and this has been, at least since 2009, trying to make this movie. And it feels like the studio told them they wanted every sort of superhero thing and, like, everything in this movie, and instead got nothing, because it feels manufactured of so many parts that don't come to anything.
Didn't you say it was going to be, like, Taylor Lautner?
Yeah, Taylor Lautner was going to be the lead, and he quit so he could be in Stretch Armstrong, which apparently did not happen either.
That happened. That makes so much sense. I can easily see him in this film.
Honestly, he has more charisma than this guy.
Honestly, he probably would, not probably, he would have been better than this guy. This guy looked like Joshua Jackson crossed with a blow-up doll.
Well, when they started the movie, and we don't know anything about the plot, like this character, like me and Phelan, we never saw any trailers or anything, so you don't know his age or his story or anything. And then the mom starts going like, "Oh, this is for baby, sorry," and then we're like, "What?" Like he's like 30, isn't he? Like,
both he and the girl, like I don't know what ages they are in real life, but in this movie they look like. Look, just a quick rewrite. Make them college students. That's all you got to do. This is distracting. Like, he only looks about 10 years younger than Maria Bello. The fuck? Like, this movie it's written by Christopher Yost, who has written, like, a lot of animated Marvel stuff. He's written the Thor movies, or at least a couple of them. That includes the new one that's coming out. The one of which Ninja Turtles series?
The 2003 one.
That one, and this, like, it feels like I could totally believe there's studio interference involved here, but it also feels like I'm watching a first draft. Like, that's totally what this movie feels like. Like, probably what the first draft of what most superhero movies is probably like before they make, that second, third, and final draft. Like, this is just the skeleton of what a superhero film would be, only they decided to just go ahead and film that, because no one's gonna see it anyway.
Yeah.
The theater was almost empty until, like, a family came in near the end. Otherwise, it was just us.
I was so mad at them.
Yeah.
They sat far enough back.
Yeah.
Though the kids were laughing at some
They
parts,
laughed at some
and it was sad.
crappy jokes.
Yeah, like...
But it wasn't very much, though, so I don't know how much they really enjoyed this movie.
The stupid shit the robot was saying, like, "Oh, you gotta change your hamper there, man. Like, the girl might know too much about us. Maybe we should kill her." Like... The hell kind of hero is this?
Yeah. Might have been funny if they actually killed her.
This is one of our heroes in the movie. Like, it really legit seems like he's suggesting he kill his love interest.
She was another weird thing where it seemed like the story started in the middle with her, because even though he met her his first day of school, because she almost runs him over. And she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's meanwhile on the ground acting like he's concussed. And she's just like, "Oh, okay, you said you're okay. Meet me here after school." And at first I kind of missed the intros because I was zoning out, so I was like, do they know each other? Did they meet already? I guess not. Like,
Yeah,
there was
very
just
friendly
nothing
too
there.
quick.
No chemistry at all.
None. He has more chemistry with Maria Bello.
Yeah. It was reminding me of like the worst of Smallville with Clark and
Yeah.
Lana, like our like paper thin relationship.
There are
At least she didn't look like Rebecca Black like this lady did. So I kept just thinking, Friday.
She still had that like blank look that Kristen Krug would give Tom
Yeah.
Welling. Like they're very blank with each other.
Oh God, there are every scene they have together in this movie includes at least a 5 or 10 second stretch where they're saying nothing.
They just they both
line.
they both have the
Yeah.
looks of extras in a scene. They don't seem like they would be the main characters. They seem
There
like
are
the
those.
ones like you would immediately forget their face.
Yeah, you're like, when are they getting killed off and the real hero comes?
Good Lord.
It just, I still just can't believe Andy Garcia is in this. Maria Bello. Oh my God! Like, did they just assume they were signing on to like? Well, this will be a next
Better.
big franchise.
Yeah.
Even
The
the
hell?
opening credits were half-assed.
Oh God! Like they
'Cause you
ran
were like-
out of money in the middle of
yeah,
the credits.
it was just like
Yeah.
it was starting kind of like the Spider-Man credits. Well, I guess the movie's starting.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It was
Okay.
just like, because I know that like they don't really do a lot of long credit sequences anymore, but this one started out like it was going to be that, like you just said, like a Spider-Man opening credit sequence.
Yeah.
But it just cuts to the movie after the title. Like they were going too far over budget with their opening credits. And the scene before the opening credits is him like testing out his powers. It is like if in Spider-Man, he like used the web to grab the can, and then it cut to the opening credits. Oh yeah,
Yeah, well, there was no real intro there. He was just like, huh? Credits? You're like, what?
Oh,
Okay, so
like,
what did we just see?
your guess is as good as mine, movie. Oh, I love the part where he's researching this shit, and he for no reason takes his shirt off in the scene. Like a subtle movie.
He starts Googling, my hands dispense liquid energy.
Yeah.
As if that
Yeah.
would come up with anything.
What am I?
What am I?
Question
Question mark, question
marks.
mark, question mark. And just again, for no reason, he just this part had to have been written when Taylor Lautner was still involved in the movie because he, like I said, just takes his shirt off in the middle of the scene for no reason.
Did they run out of money to have any sort of color in this movie? Because it
Again-
was drained of color.
Again, like
No,
I said,
that's-
that really seems like they were just trying to make it look like Man of Steel
But
or
it's
any
so
of those.
not that kind of movie. It wasn't gritty, but it wasn't funny either. It was trying
Mm-hmm.
to be both, I guess.
Trying to be nothing.
Yeah. The only kind of effective thing I could say for it, and this is just if I'm stretching, is when they had the scene when he's fighting the giant robot cloud and the tornado starting and he's in the he's hiding in the warehouse and there's some like action going on. That was okay. And some of the effects were okay with the big cloud with the weird scary face and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that could be something in a different movie.
It well, it is. It looks exactly like Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That's so like stylistically, like stylistically, and for a lot of reasons, it looks like a DC Universe movie, but a lot like Fantastic Four as well, because it's like it's shot dark, but there's kind of goofy stuff happening, like the end with all that cloud. And like I've seen a lot worse special effects in movies.
The special effects weren't bad. It just was
No.
serving nothing.
Yeah, like they were.
Except for the face stuff when the Iron Man shots. Those look terrible.
Yeah, those were annoying and really poorly cut into the movie. Like those are just straight out trying to ape the fight scenes from Iron Man. Like the effects are fine, and honestly, like they probably put a little more towards their effects budget because of how cheap it probably was to film where they were filming at in this movie.
I feel like at the end the villain looks like the cross between like Lord Zed Power Rangers villain
Yeah.
and Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
When they start doing the Iron Man fight scene at one point, the whole plan to get rid of him is just overload the villain with energy and then he'll explode. It's really simple and stupid. And they have this moment where he starts overloading him, and they just zoom in on like intense faces of them. It looked like a scanners battle where they're like, just intense face battle.
Yeah. Yeah, this really did look like the YA reboot of the Guyver.
Yeah, it reminded
Jesus
me
Christ.
of Guyver and Power Rangers and
A lot of different things. It's a lot of different things in a really cheap ass blender that is just shit out into theaters. Like, the only thing that I would have been like, well, I didn't see that coming, is if it did the switcheroo and Andy Garcia wasn't the villain and Maria Bello was.
Yeah.
Then I would have been like, okay, you got me. I feel like an idiot, but you got me.
Tells the soldiers, kill my son.
Yeah, I would have been
I
like,
thought, they were going to do that, and then they didn't.
That would have been great.
I would have loved that. Like, Maria Bello's the villain? Okay, you have my attention, movie.
There's so many shots of our lead where he just looks confused and his mouth is gaping, and you could just add like over it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, like, no expression at all, dead-eyed. Like, this guy, maybe as, like, a supporting character in something, he'd be okay. He wasn't, like, terrible, but he doesn't have any sort of presence to him, so it's not enough to carry this movie.
He's terrible.
He's not a leading man.
He couldn't carry this. He couldn't carry this movie, at least on charisma, like, at all. I mean, this movie ends with him still not really knowing how to fly. This movie ends on a slapsticky shot of him wanting to go one way, but the robot wanting to go another way,
And that rips him apart, and he screams
that.
at him.
Oh my god, that would have been so good. Like, well, they
like,
did
what?
not sequel bait this.
The jokes are so few and far between, so it's so, like, not anything. Like, it just feels like they're not trying with any of it.
There's a bunch of no answers, like, with a bunch of stuff, like why his father is really there, even.
Yeah, well, it was all a bunch of mush. Like, all the dialogue kind of mushed together. It was repetitive, but at the same time, you didn't really get anything from it. You're like, I don't know, they're talking about these ultra magnet things or whatever. I guess they're aliens or robots or something.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I guess he's Superman now. And then they kept being so repetitious with the flashbacks.
Oh,
to the point
fuck.
where at the end, we know already, we filled in the gaps for things, but then they were like, no, you need to see this now that we've already told you. Like, no, we get it. You don't need to flashback now. You don't need to.
That
The mystery
sucks
solved.
so bad. Like, if you thought the shit with, like, Peter's parents in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was repetitive and fucking boring, this shit gets insane. Like, I heard you next to me, like, I get it, I fucking get it, I get it. It was so many flashbacks with his fucking dad.
Because the fight scene was over.
Yeah.
All of the answers are already there. What we could glean from it. We still don't. We know fuck all about the backstory with the aliens and shit. But any of the other
He
stuff,
crashed
we
on
know.
the planet with his little aliens, or his robot sidekicks. Like, anyway, I'm gonna join a science firm and marry this woman. Like, all right. Okay. Good one, Sherelle.
And the mom is, like, telling him all this. We, the audience, already fucking know, but, like, the mom is telling him this, like, and Max is in bed. Again, the movie's over at this point, because the villain's fucking dead. So, like, it's like Maria Bello gets up, and Max is like, Mom, will you read me the story again tomorrow? As you wish.
I like, too, at the end where she's just like, anyway, yeah, you're down Schitt's Creek. I don't know what to do for you, but it's time for you to move out.
Look, kid, you're 26. You need to move out.
Yeah, it's time
Get
for
out
you
of my
to move
house.
out. You said that.
Yeah.
God. There were like, when I don't know how long it was into the movie, like, maybe the first 40 to 50 minutes, we had, like, the giggles because it was so appallingly nothing that, like, all the jokes we were making over this, like, underwhelming movie, it made everything hilarious. But after a while, we just couldn't find anything. We all three got very quiet, and then you were on your phone, and I was checking the time, slinking lower into my chair.
I was just trying to figure out, like, again, like, how this was happening, because I wasn't, like, texting anyone or anything. I was just like, who directed this? Who fucking wrote this? Who is this fucking actor?
Why was this made? Question mark.
We knew, like, within the first 5 minutes, that sequel ain't happening. Yeah. This franchise is not... The Mattel franchise is dead.
Oh, the part in the movie where, like, the kid says, the girl's like, what happened? And the kid's like, it's a long story. And I'm just sitting there just out loud. I'm just like, it really isn't. It really isn't in this fucking 80-minute movie. No. God damn. Like, how long was this? It could not have been more than 90 minutes.
It was 90 minutes, I'm fairly certain.
Fuck. Max Steel is this year's Gem and the Holograms. That is exactly what this movie is. Like, everything about this is more obnoxious than Gem and the Holograms. Like, there were recognizable actors in Gem and the Holograms, but as much as I liked a couple of the actors in it, I was sort of like, yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that, like, I'm watching Gem and the Holograms and Molly Ringwald popped up in it. In this, there's actors in this, I don't know how they ended up in this fucking film, but, like, it's such a dead zone of a fucking movie. Like, like, it's easy to sit and, like, describe everything that's wrong with it, but to actually experience how bad it is, you almost have to see it. You almost have to see it just to really know how shitty this movie is to sit through.
The bland leading the bland with an obnoxious robot thrown in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another. The robot in the robot in Gem and the Holograms. I just remember being like, yeah, okay, it's a robot there, fine. The one in this, you gotta fuck up bad to make a shitty ass robot in a movie, because a robot can be easily likable just in the sense that they're a fucking robot. Like, so, all right, this movie may be bad, but hey, the robot's cute, whatever. The guy in this doing the fucking robot, holy shit, I've never seen someone fuck up a voice of a robot so bad since, like, fucking Star Odyssey with the duck robots wanting to fucking kill themselves and shit.
Yeah. This is like someone played Portal and didn't get it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. The Mattel Cinematic Universe is not going to happen.
I hope it does. I hope this does cross over into Barbie's Starlight Adventure. Would there be any way you'd recommend sitting through this?
No. I don't see anything in it that was worth it. It was just nothing. It was a nothing movie. It's not even like a movie that you can necessarily, like, hate watch. There's some things, like, you can watch, you're like, oh, this is so bad, like, and get some sort of reaction, but, like, it's just a black hole.
I imagine, like, we're sitting around and, like, Brian was there. This would be a pretty fun movie to watch in that. Maybe I'm just saying that because I saw Gem and the Holograms with him and we got some fun out of that because we were the only ones in the theater on a Saturday night opening weekend. If you're a hardcore fan of the show, you could probably hate watch this. Like Last Airbender style.
I have no idea how close this is to the show or the video games or anything related to Max Steel, but I kind of think not. I kind of think it does not relate very closely.
I think you could probably pick it up at a video store or something. Wait, no, fuck that. Like Netflix or some shit to, like, maybe watch on a bad movie night or something like that. Just if you're really curious, in the same way you would have been curious to see Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, except this is way worse. Or in the same way maybe you'd be curious to see how bad Gem and the Holograms is. But Gem and the Holograms was a funnier sit than this. It could have been because, like, at least with Gem and the Holograms, Brian and I had an empty theater.
Almost had an empty theater. Stupid family.
Fucking kids. Fucking kids, man. That little shit. There's a 16-screen theater. I'm sure there's something else he could have seen.
Yeah. Watch something good, why not? We'll take the crap, you go there.
What are you doing? Do you not even watch our shows?
We want to yell at this. Go away.
Go away. We want to judge this movie. We're doing our jobs and you're interrupting us. We don't interrupt you at work. God. Any, is there anything else? Any final thoughts about this?
Fuck, I guess.
This movie's a whole lot of fuck. This movie is dog shit.
Yeah.
It is honestly exactly what I thought it would be, because I did see the trailer. It did not misrepresent this movie.
I saw that stupid teen angsty crap. Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's one of these.
Vanished was a way funnier movie.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.